In Singapore, permission to own a car has cost 117,000 Singapore dollars. Not the car, the permit. That is everyday life in the most expensive city on earth. Though it shares that crown and thereby hangs this whole map, this is the world, ranked by the price of simply living in it. Now, expensive needs a referee. For decades, one survey did the job. 73 cities, more than 400 prices, everything from bread to haircuts. Every city was scored against New York, which sits at 100 by definition. And in the very last count, the top of the table did something league tables almost never do. It tied. The countdown starts in the United States. San Francisco scores 86, 10th place, powered by tech money. Software salaries chase too few homes, and every price in town climbs obligingly. Yet here's the strange part. This is only the third most expensive city in its own country. Joint 8th, Tel Aviv, Israel, at 89. In 2021, this was briefly the most expensive city on the planet. A surging shekel, startup money, and a housing squeeze. The shekel cooled. The prices, as prices do, mostly stayed. Level with it sits Copenhagen, Denmark's shop window, also on 89. Here the cost of living is almost civic policy. High wages, high taxes, and a pastry that costs what a pastry costs when everyone is paid properly. The Danes call it fairness. Visitors call it a card machine with Hygge. Number 7. Paris at 91. The Euro's only representative this high on the list. France keeps the baguette famously cheap and lets nearly everything else float near the top of the continent. Rent, schooling, a winter coat, a haircut. Romance, it turns out, sends invoices. Number 6. Los Angeles, back in the United States, at 97. This is a city you must drive, so the city charges you to drive it. Petrol, parking, insurance, repairs. 3 points below New York, one freeway at a time, and the American entries keep coming. Number 5. Hong Kong, China's great harbor city, at 98. Housing does the damage here. The median home costs 14.1 years of the median household income, the least affordable market on earth, 16 years running. People pay Manhattan prices for a fraction of Manhattan space, and the queue for a public flat runs years. Now, the same ruler runs the other way. At the bottom of all 173 sits Damascus, Syria, scoring just 13, one price in 8, next to New York. Tehran and Tripoli sit barely above it. That isn't a bargain. It's what war and collapse do to money and to everyone holding it. The index even has a broken meter. In Caracas, Venezuela, prices rose about 450% in a single year, quadruple, and then some. The survey scores the city, then quietly leaves it out of the averages because one hyperinflation bends the maths for everybody. Past a point, cheap and expensive stop meaning anything at all. Back at the top, joint 3rd, New York, the ruler measuring itself. It scores exactly 100 because the United States flagship is the yardstick every other city is priced against. Manhattan can't win its own game, and it can't lose it either. But 2 cities beat the yardstick outright. The other joint 3rd is Geneva, where Switzerland enters the list and never leaves. A lakeside town of 200,000 people, priced level with Manhattan. Watches, diplomats, and a franc that makes every visitor a little poorer on arrival. And this is only Switzerland's 2nd most expensive city. Because Switzerland isn't expensive by accident, it's expensive by constitution. Across the whole country, prices run 59% above the EU average. Europe's dearest food, clothing, and electricity in one tidy alpine package. The Swiss famously drive across the border to buy groceries. Entire German border towns function, in practice, as Swiss supermarkets. Which brings us to joint 1st. Zurich, at 104, Switzerland's crown, 4 points above New York. The franc is so strong that simply being paid in it counts as a pay rise. Groceries, household goods, recreation, the dearest in the survey. Even the discount aisle is aspirational. And sharing that same 104 sits Singapore, the closest thing this ranking has to a dynasty. Champion 9 of the last 11 years. The island ran out of room, so the state auctions the right to put a car on its roads. That's the $117,000 permission slip from the start of our story. Groceries, alcohol, clothes, all near the world's peak, on an island you can drive across in an hour. Then, at the very top of its game, the referee retired. The 2023 count was the last. The survey has been discontinued permanently. 2 cities, level for good, no tiebreak, no rematch, no next year. The most expensive place on earth is now officially and forever a draw. So, read this map the way its makers did. The dear places are symptoms of strength, hard currency, high wages, more people wanting in than there is room for. The cheap places are mostly wounds. Between Damascus at 13 and the Twins at 104 runs nearly everything money can say about a place. The price tag was never really about the groceries. Next time, the world's largest air forces, ranked.